hands.
Hello, everybody.
Jazz
Hi.
hands. It works.
It does.
Wow, we're getting really good at this.
Indeed.
Really, really good at this.
Sorry if I'm a little distracted. Right over the camera, there are two cats who are just in a stare down. And,
Yeah, I feel like I should whistle. Like
I know.
there are no tumbleweeds blowing through the hallway.
tumbleweeds.
But right outside the door of our recording studio is one cat staring through the door at another cat. Yeah. The cats have not been very nice to each other.
No.
Two of the cats,
Have not been very nice to Betty.
the cats who used to live here, have
Who
not been
still
very
live
nice.
here.
Yeah, right. Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Sue's here. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. Yeah, so we are currently watching a standoff. Or I am.
You're watching. I'm all
Sean-
business.
Sean
I am
can't
all
see it
business.
from where he is.
Your time is valuable. If you're here today, hi,
Yes.
I'm Sean, and over there is Lizzie.
I'm Lizzie.
We're going to stitch live with you today.
We are.
You can stitch. We can show you how. That's what we're here to do. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making us a part of your day, wherever you're watching, however you're watching. We're
Indeed.
excited. Please tell them what we're stitching today.
We are stitching the chocolate box details die.
Oh.
And so I've got that sort of laid out here. So this, and this, these three parts are the chocolate box details dies.
Is there a sample somewhere that I can hold up or not?
You know,
Did it end up downstairs on the table?
It's on the kitchen table.
Okay, because after you took it down from the tree, someone wanted to put it back on the tree, and I was like, no, 4-year-old child, you may not do that, and it was very hard, and now it's not even here. Okay, everybody, BRB, Lizzie's gonna have to do this one on her own self for a little bit.
I will watch out.
I've heard that before.
Okay, so we've got these three pieces here. Make sure they're in the little window there. Are the chocolate box details dies. They coordinate with the basic heart, which I'm aware is out of stock. We have recently experienced an interruption in our dye manufacturing, but we're working on it and we'll get everything back as soon as we can. Trust me, we want them back as badly as you do. So we're working on it as quickly as we can. But seeing as how this weekend is Valentine's Day, we're going with it.
This weekend's Valentine's Day?
It is.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I know. Okay, so these three dies are part of that die, or all the parts of that die. Then we have the basic heart.
I'm back, everybody. I can't wait to hear about your Valentine's plans in the chat. That's what I'm really excited about.
He does want. He actually
Here,
did.
let's put that under the screen for just a second.
Well, no, give me the other one because it's.
Oh, you want the other one? Let's just do everything you want to do.
Okay.
Okay.
These are the pieces we're using today.
Spectacular.
So the basic heart is this piece here. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing on the screen there. And then the scalloped heart, which is a separate die, is this piece that we're going to be using today here. And then on today's, we're going to use the My Love, which is from Chocolate Box Messages.
Oh, okay.
And that die, I think, has 6 greetings.
Wow, who designed this die? I don't recall how many greetings there are in there.
I think it's 6.
There's one for every Valentine in your life. Let's say hypothetically speaking.
No, genuinely, because there's one for your best friend.
Your best friend.
There's one for someone that you love.
Someone that you love.
There's you and me.
There's you and me.
There's
we're doing
forever.
Great. Forever. Yeah.
Yes.
And for anybody who likes to mix their numerals and their letters.
No, it's not a 4. It's
what?
FOR.
Oh boy. Okay, we better start stitching.
Anyways. Okay. So this is essentially the same setup we're going with today. Because I love that with the different detail styles, you can dress up your project to look more or less like a chocolate box. I just remember the chocolate boxes when I was a kid always having that like frilly lid.
Yeah, that's how you knew it was Valentine's Day.
Right?
If it didn't have a frilly lid, it was just a regular box of chocolates. You know what I'm saying? That's how this must be Valentine's Day.
Indeed. But then there were also the ones that had like the really fun like ribbon detail on them.
Yeah.
And so that's why the ribbon heart, which is on the other sample you have here.
It's my turn. Okay, that's great. Look, do your job.
That That
little
is
guy.
also a fun addition that you can use because
So fun.
anything that works with the basic heart.
It's going to apply here to the chocolate box.
Precisely.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we've got somebody already in the chat. Valentine's at home on Saturday and dinner out on Sunday for our 39th anniversary.
Wow.
She says, yikes. That's not a yikes. That's a congratulations.
That's awesome.
Unless you're saying, yikes, I better think about what to do for our 40th anniversary.
Indeed.
It's okay. You have plenty of time to start planning.
Okay.
Okay.
So today.
Let's get stitching.
We have pieces.
I got to change the camera. You do you.
Okay.
Whoop, there it is.
So I've got, this is the base piece from the chocolate box messages. There's the chocolates layer and there is the tray layer.
Oh boy.
So you can see there's like the tray there and then there's the chocolates there. And there are little details on each of the chocolates. So we're going to stitch it all today. So first, I like to stitch these two pieces together first because I feel like it makes it more stable for me.
Also, it reminds you you're working on a chocolate box in case you really have to lock in to what you're stitching.
Right.
You're like, what is my motivation here?
My motivation is chocolate.
What is my motivation?
My motivation is usually chocolate.
My motivation is chocolate. Yeah, we don't recommend stitching and eating chocolate at the same time or else you'll get chocolate in the thread and it'll be weaved in there forever.
You just gotta eat it fast.
You gotta eat it fast. Oh, Lord. Please don't leave your chocolate wrappers around like you do your needles and your thread at home either. Don't do that either.
I don't do that.
I said nothing about who does it. I just said if you're out there in TV land or YouTube land. I love this pink circle that's around my head today, by the way. Look at this thing.
They changed the colors on the circles to match the theme of the day.
Oh my gosh, I'm so good with software. Did you see that? With a push of a button, we went from white circles to pink circles. Can you believe it?
Look at that.
It really pops.
All right, so I'm using 3371.
Okay, 3371.
Which is what I use for truffle.
Truffle. And do we have truffle on the table or no?
We do, yes.
Okay, I'm finding my... Oh, I got some plastic.
You got some stuff to crinkle.
I got some plastic to crinkle, everybody. I'm happy as a clam.
All right, so you're going to line up these two layers here.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You're on camera now.
You're going to line up your layers.
Line up your layers of your... So this was what? This is, I'm sorry, truffle in what color?
Cocoa.
Truffle and cocoa. Truffle's the dark one.
Correct.
Cocoa's the light colored one.
Correct.
They're both nice neutrals.
Yes.
And you're stitching there in the inside. You're not doing the perimeter first, eh?
No, you always do the insides first.
Okay, always doing the insides first. Here's truffle and cocoa, everybody. There.
Because see they don't attach on the outside. This is like it tucks underneath.
Uh-huh.
So there's not
It's
you
like
don't see so many layers when it's all sewn together.
you're saying just like nougat, it's a filler.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. So you're just gonna sew. I'm using 3 strands of thread.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just using a running stitch.
We're gonna use a running stitch with 3 strands of thread, and the first thing we're gonna do is do the outline surrounding what will eventually be the little chocolates there in the chocolate box. Okay, that's great. Look at that. I'm really, as usual, I'm learning how our own products come together while you're learning how to stitch them. It's really wonderful, isn't it? Anybody else?
Everybody has their strong...
Everybody has their strong suits. And right now it is not sharing their Valentine's plans. So if you have Valentine's plans, I want to hear about it. Valentine's at home on Saturday. There's nothing happening on Friday. I want to know about... Do we have Valentine's plans? The answer is kind of not really.
We do.
We have Valentine's plans to go see Gigi.
We're going to go see Gigi. We're going to take her some treats.
Some treats.
That were made by a local lady who did a fundraiser for us.
So it's like it's a lunchtime Valentine situation.
Yeah, we did that last year too. We took her some snacks. She's not particularly fond of the food where she lives.
At the community where she lives. She is 95 years old.
Yes.
If you know a 95-year-old living in a community, they may have some things to say about the food. So Valentine's Day is an opportunity to put a spring in her step.
Take her some delicious treats.
Or put a chocolate in her hand.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So I'm just, like I said, running stitch. I got to the spot where I started, so I'm just doubling back.
Doubling back. That's wonderful.
To fill in all those open stitches.
And there are so many different shapes here with these chocolates. You have like a straight up oval.
Yep.
And then you have kind of a rounded off rectangle.
Indeed.
The other chocolate shapes, one of them is pretty circular.
Yep.
And then one of them is pretty much a square.
Indeed.
And then there's just this hint of another shape, this like semicircle.
Yes, it's
kind of
like another circle.
Half in the background. So all kinds of different, very evocative of the chocolate boxes of yore.
Well, indeed. Perhaps I was hungry the day I was designing this die.
Yeah, this is one of those times where it was good to be hungry when getting the die together. Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, what sounds good? And, yeah.
And what's great about stitching a project like this is it's such a unique design and such a different thing. Like, obviously the chocolate box is a big deal, but you're not just stitching a heart to give someone or something that is a little bit more maybe expected at Valentine's Day. Here we have this really awesome die that you give to someone that is a chocolate box that will last a lifetime.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Perhaps pair it with some actual chocolate, though, because I wouldn't want anyone to be disappointed.
You're saying if I stitched this for you and gave it to you without any chocolates that you would be disappointed? You would just be like, finally, he got off his tuchus and stitched.
I would never say such a thing.
Okay, great. I might sneeze. I've never sneezed on this show before.
Well,
I'm going to have to take myself out of there for just a second. Well, yeah, the mute button, but the Boylans, okay.
That's you.
Okay, everybody, we're back. Someone, when you were coughing that first episode, was like, it's weirder when you mute the cough, but I don't know. The sneeze has got to be different.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
I felt bad about the cough.
And there you go. You're tying it off. Look at that.
Yep.
We're not just jumping into the next shape. You're tying it off again.
Yes.
You have to explain to all the viewers at home or in their car or at their desk if they're at work right now, why not just go and stitch onto the next shape? Why are you tying off the very first shape there?
Well, for starters, you can use a shorter thread so it goes faster.
So you're saying that the original thread you used for stitching around the shape was shorter and therefore you're more nimble.
Yeah, I'm saying that, like, if you have less thread to pull through each hole, it's going to go quicker.
Okay.
So if you're just doing the individual chocolates, you're not going to have quite as much thread. It's going to go a little faster.
Okay.
Now, that said, I generally avoid having to tie together threads like around a perimeter. So I will go with the longest possible thread for something like that. But for something like this, I want to be quick. So
little shorty threads, little shorty knots.
Little shorty threads. And it just goes faster.
Okay. I don't know if anybody else out there stitching right now has an opinion one way or the other, if they're shorty threads or if they're long threads and how they feel about that.
I know some people who use floss drops instead of bobbins.
Yes.
They cut their thread to a particular length, and then it's always that length.
I'm sorry, what now?
Like,
they store their thread in a floss drop.
And it's always cut to a particular length. Okay. I don't know what that length is off the top of my head because I use bobbins. But I know they're all cut pieces.
That's really wild. Is anybody out there in TV land doing that? That's amazing. Okay, so they're getting their skein originally and they're cutting it into a bunch of lengths and then they're stuffing that through the little floss drop die. And then that's how they're storing it.
Yes.
Remind me again, once you've got them on the floss drop, where is it that they live after that point in time? Like, are they being hung?
People keep them on, like, binder rings and hang them.
Binder rings and they hang them. Okay. Those are people without cats.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like, by and large. People without cats. So every time
people whose cats are more like, feather cats and not string cats.
Not string cats. I'm more of a feather cat.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, every time that I package a floss drop now, I know that we're dealing with a feather cat, not a string cat.
That's right.
If you say so.
Yes. If I tried to store my thread that way, forget it.
Yeah, forget it.
Forget it.
You'd have multiple cats.
And it would all be chewed.
Chewed.
It'd be gross. So I don't do that thing.
You wouldn't want to use it for a chocolate box, that's for sure.
No. It'd be gross.
We're not giving anything to the cats for Valentine's Day, are we? Have I missed out on something? Is there anything that's headed towards the cat?
They just got a new water fountain.
Oh, that's right. They got a new... Well, I should have saved the new water fountain until Valentine's Day.
I think they'll be fine.
I'm a cat dad that doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. I just love my cats every day equally. I don't need to tell them on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
No, they're not getting anything special, I'm afraid. They got a sister, and they're being jerks about it.
Oh, so. Well, yeah, there's only so much you can do about that, isn't there? Only so much you can do about that.
Well, hello, Miss Betty.
Oh, speak of the devil. Here comes the sister right now. Hey, Betty, how are you? We have a new cat that has entered the studio, and this is her first live, so you can welcome Miss Betty to YouTube Live today. I don't think that we're going to get her on camera.
No, probably.
But, you know, she's a cat, so I expect the unexpected.
She's not one for being picked up so much. So...
And plus, even if she was one for being picked up.
I'm not on camera.
That's okay. Even if she was one for being picked up, I'm the consummate professional. I would not pick up a cat live on a broadcast.
Well, you know.
This isn't the Today Show.
I would.
This isn't the, yeah. I'm not on CBS Sunday Morning. I'm not picking up a cat. Betty, see you later.
Bye, Betty.
She was like, I'm out of here, man.
Well, there's no food in here.
It's not about food. There's no floss drops with a bunch of string hanging off of them. That's why.
She does like string.
Maybe is she a string cat?
Yeah, remember yesterday I was playing with that big chunky piece of yarn with her? She's
no, I
really
don't.
Into that.
No, I do not remember that yesterday you were playing with a big chunky piece of yarn with a cat.
I told you until about it.
Oh, okay. Spectacular.
You guys were downstairs.
Of course. Were we pretending to listen?
Probably.
What has happened here while you're stitching?
I lost my thread. And now I'm trying to re-thread my...
Okay, so you're re-threading the needle is what's happening.
Yes.
That's what we got. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now we're back. All right. For some reason, this particular shape is just giving me fits.
And once you've done this introductory part, once we've gotten the two layers stitched together, then you move into doing the embellishment.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Oh boy, did we lose the thread again?
Yes.
I was ready to move on. What happened?
I don't know.
Why? Oh, you have to trim it. Oh my gosh, it's all a lot of smoke and mirrors over here.
It's a thing.
No one can see what you're doing.
I'm re-threading my needle for the 14th time on this one ornament, or on this one.
Maybe you need longer thread. I don't know.
You know what?
I'm not a professional.
I don't need longer thread. I have plenty of thread. I just need to keep it in
so
the needle.
After this, is your plan to do the embellishment on the little individual chocolates?
Yeah.
Okay, so your plan is we're going to start to stitch the embellishment, and what you've done on this one is some, like, it looks like some icing or something that's been piped on there.
Well,
not
you know
icing.
how, like, chocolates have drizzles and
I
stuff.
do know that yes, I know the drizzles, Goose. Are you explaining to me chocolates right now?
No, I'm just saying that's why each of these has a decoration on top.
Of course, but that's what you're going to do next. You're going to do the decorations and the beads. And then you're going to start to assemble it into the full box with the lid that's off to the side. Okay, great. I just wanted to know what the order of operations was.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't like Please My Dear Aunt Sally. Every week I have to figure out what you're attacking first, second, third, and fourth.
I'm so sorry.
Betty came back in. Did you see her?
I did.
Okay, you keep stitching. I'll find the cat.
She's over by the closet.
Betty, what are you doing over there, man?
She's
Nothing.
checking things out. I tried to show her the cat tower earlier.
And she's apparently not a tower cat.
No, she was... Stop it. She was more interested in the closet. And I was like, well, good luck in there, cat, because there's a bunch of stuff on the floor.
A lot of things on the floor in the closet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, boom, your second shape. It's tied off just like that.
Thank goodness.
Ready to roll. Coming on late, want to thank you for sending my order out so quickly. Miss Carol says she ordered Friday night. We sent it out Saturday. She got it yesterday, and she's working on the shamrocks right now. Carol.
Fantastic.
We're so glad that you got it. You know, we take the shipping of... Not that everybody doesn't take. I can't speak for anybody else.
No.
Lots of people take shipping very seriously, but we... if you don't know my background exactly, I was in hospitality for years. And so, you know, when there's a sandwich that needs to be served, we have to serve it. Like, that's the mentality. So happy to get that prepared and sent out to you, Carol.
Well, and, you know, even before Mr. Hospitality was Mr. Shipper.
Oh, of course, you were no slouch either. I'm not throwing you or anybody else under the... No, I'm talking about myself without anybody else needing to feel belittled or impacted by it.
No, I'm kidding.
We do like getting the orders out quickly. That's for sure. I'm trying to even think about what I was... Oh, Friday night. Friday night, I was actually out with the dads.
Yep.
So I think I packed that thing early Saturday morning.
I think you did.
Got it out the door. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or...
No, it's definitely... It would have to be Saturday morning.
I packed a bunch of stuff on Friday afternoon and got those out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Well, Carol, we're glad that you're stitching, working on the shamrocks. That's great. It's a perfect time to be stitching shamrocks. It's also a perfect time for a last-minute Valentine's gift.
Indeed.
And that's what we're up to right now, if you're just joining in. Chocolate Box is off camera right now, just so you know.
Sorry.
That apology accepted.
I'm just trying to get the...
I could try and follow you around, I suppose. No. I haven't done that yet. It's always a nice game to just, you know, follow you around a little bit. Let's see here if I can get this guy. Yeah, I'm just going to move it a little bit further north, and boom, there. That's why I rolled out of bed today, was to get that camera out.
Gosh.
You're still off to the one side, though. You need to be more towards the center.
Here? Is that better?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't shift your whole chair, but that works fine, too.
Can't shift my chair. There's a stool with a camera on it right next to me.
Oh, Boylan's. Okay, great.
It's okay. I got this.
Now, would there be a different stitch that you think you would be able to use for instead of a running stitch here? Like, I know that there's already
probably back stitch. This is one of those things that, like, I would want my stitching to blend in this particular case. Like, I wouldn't want to use a fancy stitch that stood out because it's just sort of like it's just connecting the two pieces so that the chocolates show through. Like, you want the chocolates to be the focus. But you could probably do a back stitch if you prefer to back stitch here, because you're not going to see the back of it anyway. So the back stitch looks different from the front to the back, whereas the running stitch looks the same on the front and the back.
I'm sorry, say that again about the difference between... I thought the running stitch and the back stitch were base... Oh, one of them looks different on the back.
Yes.
Than it does on the front.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
So you could do a back stitch, certainly. Do not pull out of that, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess that the way that you've got this thing constructed in stitching, that like doing a chain stitch would maybe make the chocolates look a little strange. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do a chain stitch because I think that's going to draw too much attention to the perimeters of these chocolates. Like, you don't really want the perimeter to be the focus. You want the chocolate to be the focus.
Hey, Florence, y'all. Good afternoon from Florence, Kentucky. Glad to have you here with us. Carol is in Rhode Island, it seems.
Oh, nice.
We've been in Rhode Island once before.
We have?
It was a long time ago.
We were on our way home from Maine.
On our way home from Maine, we drove through Rhode Island and stopped and had a beautiful lunch.
Yes.
And then did the walk along the seawall.
We did.
Right?
Yep.
It has a real name, and Carol may, if she has enough time to put down the sewing, will tell us what it's called.
It was very, very hot.
That was hot the day we were in Maine, wasn't it? Or in Rhode Island. It was super duper hot. 2017 it was.
Yes.
It was definitely 2017. So quite some time. Maybe Rhode Island's changed since then. I don't know. What I do know is that I think I learned that the state of Rhode Island is 37 miles wide or something. The whole state is like 40 miles wide, which was my commute to Columbus and back when I was doing the Columbus commute. It says backstitch has more thread or fiber in the back than the running stitch. 35 years plus as a sewist and quilter. Deb, thank you for speaking up about that, Deb. That's great. Has more thread or fiber in the back than the running stitch does.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I like the running stitch, but if you had a preferred stitch, this is one of those situations where it would not make a huge difference.
In my head, someday I'd like to become the stitch master.
You're going to become the stitch? Okay.
Like, you know, yeah, right. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? He doesn't even stitch. He's going to become the stitch master. Yeah, that's great. No, like
aspiration.
When I start stitching, that I will be the one who's experimenting with stitches. Like, you can keep running stitch all you want because you've got to produce samples. Yes. I'm just monkeying around over here in the chair.
I do tend to...
With a laptop on my lap.
I do tend to do the thing that is fastest, just because...
Because you have a lot on your plate. I'm over here just, you know, I got my feet up. I'm doing nothing at all.
You are helping, because like I've said before, you remind me what I'm not saying to people, because I'm just trying to create things in a timely enough manner that we can, like, you know, get through the whole project.
Yeah, because off camera and before camera, I'm like, what are we doing? How long is it going to take? What are we doing? How long is it going to take? Yes. Come on. Everybody's time is valuable.
And I agree.
From Florida to Rhode Island, we can all agree.
And I, you know, sometimes after we're done here, we both have to run to get Tilly from school, or sometimes we've got other things happening. So I'm trying to be thoughtful about how much time I'm spending, and then I don't think to mention all the details.
Yeah, but it is such a quick craft. I mean, we're here monkeying around for about an hour and a half, let's say. And by the time we're done with that hour and a half, you know,
we usually have a full project.
Usually have a full project ready to go,
or
just
pretty
like
much
that.
Done.
Yeah, which is the not even the length of a feature-length film anymore. Most
Honestly,
times
I was a slower card maker than I am.
Oh, don't get me started about your pace of card making. Don't get me started. Oh boy.
I don't even know what
Here we go. I cleared my calendar this afternoon. So we could get into that.
Oh golly. Anyway.
Right back at it. There you go.
Yep.
It's not supposed to be the fastest thing in the world. We just don't want it to feel like the process of going through a stitching die is onerous. You would never want to feel something like that. Sounds like you were in Narragansett, maybe. Cliff Walk is in Newport. Cliff Walk. That's the one it was. Cliff Walk in Newport, Rhode Island. This is great. Carol's here to remind us there's more than
beautiful houses.
It turns out there's more than one place in Rhode Island. No shade to Rhode Island. We loved being there.
No, it was beautiful.
In my head, there's only one place in Rhode Island.
It was also
Newport.
just very hot.
And that very long bridge, that super long bridge we drove over, right? I have a hard time driving over bridges because I want to look at the engineering.
He wants to.
Yeah.
In another life, Sean Jones would be a civil engineer.
A civil engineer. Liz is always like, watch the road, and I'm just looking at bridge structures or exit ramps, you know?
I'm like, hey, there's traffic. Let's not hurt
Who cares about the traffic? We're from Ohio. This is a suspension bridge, right?
We don't have these.
We don't have these where we come from. You can't take me to Pittsburgh.
Nope.
If you take me to Pittsburgh, you better put me in the passenger seat.
Or... Yes, getting Uber or something.
A real bridge guy in the chat today.
It's true.
Mary Kobe says, cards take me forever. There's so many choices. Oh, we're paralyzed by choice with the greeting card, eh?
100%.
That speaks to the staying power, I think, of the greeting card as a unit, as an artifact, right? Like, there's just so much you can do with that A2.
And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And like tomorrow I'm planning to do Valentine's with Tilly for her class. I did not buy any.
I was so stoked that you told Tilly earlier today that you were going to be doing Valentine cards with her tomorrow because that means I can get something else done. This is awesome. There are also times in my life where I'm doing crafting with Tilly and sometimes I pause and say to myself, like, why am I doing the crafting? Does anybody know? Like, because how is it that I'm crafting?
I get aggravated
right now.
I get aggravated sometimes when she's just like, for example, she has wanted to stamp lately, because somebody gave her a stamp for Christmas, like a single rubber stamp
for Christmas. That's right.
And it's a cat, and she keeps stamping it.
Because when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yeah,
right? So you have a rubber cat stamp. You want to stamp.
We have this cat stamped in like 30 colors now.
Yes,
but she doesn't stamp evenly.
Of course she doesn't stamp evenly.
I know. But she also won't listen to like any suggestions. So she just keeps telling me that those parts of the cat are white.
Oh. That's great. She's already manipulating her school teachers with that kind of stuff. That's great.
And I'm just like, but what if we just tried it this way?
Wow. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying that your levels, your standards are so high, you have a hard time coming down to the level of a preschooler when you're paper crafting. It makes my eye
twitch a little.
Oh boy.
I love her so much.
Oh, let her live. You gotta let her live.
That I feel like maybe you crafting with her is better than me crafting with her sometimes because...
Oh, I thought you were about to say that me crafting with her has rubbed off on her. That I was like, I'm the reason why. I was ready for that. I was ready to defend myself.
I don't want her to pick up on my like perfectionist tendencies because I just want her to have fun. And
yes, of course.
So sometimes I worry that like when I'm crafting with her, she can sense that Mama is annoyed at things.
No, she's okay.
So
I mean, she does stitch with you as well. There's been some stitching projects here and there for sure.
Yeah, I bought her one of those like little stitchy kits from, I don't know, Target or someplace. It was on clearance, and so it's like, maybe she would have fun with this. And I will never do it again. You're like,
it looks like you're on the last shape of this particular thing, aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
That's great.
So I will never do it again for 2 reasons.
The little stitch kits. Wait, I can't believe you're throwing Target under the bus here.
No. I've seen them other places now too, but I will not buy the little stitch kits for a couple of reasons. Number one is the quality of the felt is terrible. Like, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. And they also don't have all the holes poked out.
Oh.
So, like, you have to then poke out the holes, but they're not cut well enough that, like, they don't want to poke out. Oh. Even using my trusty
even using your trusty paperclip tool, it doesn't want to poke out.
It does not.
Doesn't.
And then the needles that they include in those kits are these big plastic needles, because, you know, they don't want kids to hurt themselves, which I totally understand.
Totally understand.
But the eye on the needle is so big it can't fit through the holes that they poke in the felt.
There's a lot happening.
Exactly.
There's a lot happening there.
So it's like, I would rather just make her little kits with my stuff and just give her a tapestry needle with a blunt tip.
Mm-hmm.
And then she could do that instead. Like, I've got plenty of scraps. I can make her nice kits using our stuff.
You gonna tie that thing off?
Yep.
Wow, so we've got the whole interior layer done there.
Yes.
So we have cocoa behind truffle.
We do.
And what that does is it gives you this vibe, this look of, look at those little chocolates.
Yeah.
Popping out of there. That's great.
So then we're going to add the details.
Also looks like the Cookie Monster came and took a whole big bite out of that until you stitch the rest of it together.
It does, doesn't it?
All right, what details are we adding here?
I'm going to use a white thread, or the color that I use for our tundra is 3865.
But you could go crazy here. Like, you could do so many things with the stitching and the additions here. It really depends on the fancy kinds of chocolate you've experienced in your life.
Indeed.
You know?
I'm going with white chocolate because it'll pop. Like, you'll be able to see it. But yes, you could do colorful stitches.
Yeah, you could do any kind of
dark chocolate
berry
stitches.
drizzled things. Yeah,
Yes.
dark chocolatey things.
I'm just going with the white chocolate today because it'll be easily visible.
Especially if you're a gourmand and you've really experienced a lot of chocolate boxes in your life.
Indeed.
You know, there are people out there who are really just spreading out when it comes to chocolate.
Yeah, they're just doing it.
Maybe you've traveled to a place that is famous for its chocolate.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Like Switzerland.
Indeed. Yes. I just realized I didn't poke out a couple of these holes.
Oh, no.
I mean, they're out, but they're not very well out. So
you got some hanging chads there is what you're saying. Some hanging chads.
Yes.
And
Okay.
this is how many strands?
3.
3 strands. Here we go.
I'm going to start with this swirl.
Okay. The swirl you're saying is one of
Is on the circle.
On the circle. Okay, so the little drizzle detail that's on the circular chocolate piece is a spiral.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, you can use whatever stitch makes you happiest. I'm using the running stitch again here, just mostly because it's quick. And it's going to be easy to show you like how it comes together. And there is, when you buy this die, if you have not already done so, there is a little guide that comes inside the package, so you can see how these are all supposed to be stitched.
The little stitching guide that comes inside.
Yeah,
yes.
There's just like a picture, so you can see how it comes together.
Excellent.
All right, and then we're going to double back.
I'm thinking about how much fun if everything that you were stitching was in a spiral, because you kind of just get that momentum going and you're just swirling and swirling and swirling.
Indeed.
But some good things must end, and that includes the drizzle on this.
It does.
I wonder how many chocolatiers right now are looking at the calendar, right? It's February the 11th, and they're definitely not in the chat watching Stitching Live with Lizzie and Sean. They're working on their ganache.
Yeah.
For sure.
Indeed they are.
This is a big week for ganache. Probably the biggest week of the year for ganache.
Probably.
Yeah.
Right?
You think so, right?
I would think so.
I didn't do any show notes today. I could have prepared all kinds of data about chocolate, Valentine's chocolate.
Well, what are you doing, man?
Well, right now I'm clearly, people can probably hear that.
Hear you Googling?
Yeah, absolutely,
yes. Yeah. Okay, so once your swirl is done, you can just tie it off.
Tie it off?
Mm-hmm.
Just that fast? Wow, you just knocked it out that quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the designs on the inside are not huge, complicated things.
I just found 7 facts about Valentine's Day chocolates.
Did you?
It says that the serving size of a chocolate box is about 2 pieces. Get out of here. Two
boxes?
No, or... It's so ridiculous. It says, yes, that's right. Can you believe that? Oh, no. You should limit your intake of who's writing this nonsense. Someone who's an RDN in the New York City area wanted you to know that you should really only have added sugars for 10% of it. Okay, give me a break.
Yeah, well.
What I'd rather talk about is that chocolate contains antioxidant-like compounds.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, if you've heard that it's healthy, you're not totally wrong, is what it says.
Okay, so on the square.
The square.
I like to, once I get to the end of the line here,
Uh-huh.
I just slip the needle between the 2 layers.
Say what?
So it's like going around the edge of the cocoa layer on the underside. You can't see it from there.
Of course you can't see it from here. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. Okay. You're in between the layers
I went
where?
like around the cocoa layer.
Around the cocoa layer.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that takes the line all the way under the edge there.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. You can stop at the last dot, at the last hole.
Uh-huh.
But I just went all the way around.
And do that little turnaround. Okay, I see it now. All right, that's one way to do it. Chocolate is my favorite food group. Deb wants us to know.
That's right.
Now we're talking about that. All right.
That is correct.
It says that dark chocolate contains less sugar than milk chocolate. I'm pretty sure that was really there.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you.
I prefer dark anyway.
It says that chocolate boxes can be loaded with additives. Not our chocolate box. Our chocolate box is not loaded with additives.
No additives at all.
There's no malt syrup. There's no maltose. There's no sucrose. There's no fructose.
No dextrose or I don't know. No, there's no toses.
There's no toses. That's great.
All right, so.
And now you're going on to work on the different lines now.
Yep.
So
yeah,
did you run out of thread, or you purposely wanted to stop what you were stitching and get a different?
I ran low on thread.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And I didn't want to have to fight with something really too small.
Okay.
So I just grabbed another piece.
And now you're ready to rock with that.
Yep.
Oh, that's very kind. Barbara says that our chocolate box is the best.
Thank you.
Very kind. We loved it. We thought it was a really fun way to stitch.
Yeah.
It's a great way to stretch out a little bit, do something different. Chocolate box is there for you.
I think this was actually your suggestion, wasn't it?
There's a distinct possibility that you were like, what should we do for Valentine's Day release? I'm running out of ideas. And then I was like, oh, well, dudes only know how to do like 2 things on Valentine's Day. And one of them is a box of chocolates. Have you thought about that?
And I was like, I had not. That is fabulous. And so I did that thing.
Shari just said that dark chocolate is diet chocolate. I, for one, prefer dark chocolate for so many reasons. But like the darker, the better. Like you could push me up to like 92%.
Yes, you sometimes go too dark for my palate.
Oh, I want to go as dark as you can possibly get it.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I do love dark chocolate, but maybe not quite as dark as you do.
It starts to get like a good Scotch whiskey when it's really dark like that, you know? All kinds of moody.
Turns out I don't like Scotch whiskey.
Either. Wow, and so you clipped that off again.
Yep.
Unbelievable,
It's only a couple of holes.
Yeah, I know.
It goes together really quick.
Of course. Stitching right through there. Yeah, so dark chocolate is diet chocolate. You know,
I like it.
You know, it's strange. They've never called it diet chocolate.
They should. They should.
We're not in chocolate marketing.
Nope. Turns out.
Yeah.
We're barely in craft marketing. We're just goofing off together on the internet.
Yeah, we're in chocolate eating. We're not in chocolate marketing. That's for sure. Not a big Willy Wonka guy when I was young, so I don't think about it very much. I
almost used the Willy Wonka song on Instagram on my story this morning to remind people we were stitching today.
Shari thinks that I'm just munching on cacao nibs.
Pretty much.
Just right off the tree.
Yeah, just like harvesting those bad boys yourself.
Oh, is that the first bad boy, everybody?
I think it is.
All right, 1:38. We got 38 minutes in before the first bad boy today. That's the time code, okay.
I didn't realize how often we said that.
38 minutes before the first bad boy.
Oh, boy.
Tracking it. I'm keeping track. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so up here on the oval,
uh-huh,
we're just doing like a crisscross. Gonna make you jump.
Oh, you just couldn't stay away from that, could you?
It popped into my head, and if I didn't let it out, it was gonna tickle for like the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like my nose was twitching, but I convinced myself it was the beard. I was like, oh, it's just your bristly beard. Oof. We're making sure our references are super dated. Super dated here. Stitching Live with Lizzie and Sean. Thanks for joining us again.
We do our best.
We do our best to keep all of our references as contemporary as possible.
modern as we can.
Uh-huh. And the color you're using with the white, again, this is our color for Tundra Felt match, correct?
Yes.
But you could use pearl if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could use pearl. I thought about using a pink.
Oh, you could definitely use pink for some kind of like fruity type garnish.
Yeah. But I'm just going to stick with the white for all of them because I would like the consistency.
Yeah, or chocolate on chocolate, death by chocolate. Or maybe you're one of those like citrus chocolate people. Like an orange chocolate.
I used to love the orange creams as a kid.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Yum.
Now we're talking. I feel like I've eaten more than 2 chocolates from the box already. And I haven't even eaten any chocolates from the box.
Oh, boy.
That's great.
Is Betty still in here?
I have no idea where Betty is.
She came back in again.
I'm focused on the task at hand.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be stitching. You're not supposed to be looking for a cat.
I'm always looking for a cat.
Yeah, there you are. You're tying a knot live on YouTube where hundreds of thousands of people are someday going to watch this video. And you're looking off camera to be like, hey, anybody seen that darn cat?
Anybody find the cat?
Oh, boilins. Yeah, yum orange. We got more orange chocolate people in the chat, that's for sure. That's great.
All right.
Okay.
A little more thread here.
A little more thread, and we're going to finish off the last 2 shapes.
Kind
of the rounded.
I'm still finishing this oval.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
I'm ready to move on with my life already.
I can tell. You keep telling me how fast it is, and then...
I like what you did with... So when you did these beads on this one and on this one, what you've got is clear beads, but with a color of thread. Right?
Well,
What do you mean, no?
I mean...
Make a fool out of me.
I mean, one of the ones you're looking at has a copper-lined bead on it.
A copper line... Oh, hang on a second.
It's a clear bead that's been lined with copper.
This one right here. We have copper-lined beads here on these little guys. Okay.
And then the other one that you have on your lap has color-lined beads.
Color-lined beads. Okay.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find a way to blop that into the...
We use a lot of, like...
So that one there is the one that has copper lined, and those are beads that we provide.
Yeah, they're in the Lasting Love color story.
Is it real copper inside the bead?
That is my understanding.
Your understanding is that somehow these people who are making beads have found a way to get copper inside the bead.
Listen, I don't make the beads.
I know you don't make the beads.
I just buy the beads that I think are awesome.
And those are in the Lasting Love color story, you said?
Those ones are, yes.
That's one of the new color stories.
It is.
Spectacular. Okay.
In fact, it's this one here. I just happen to have it on my desk because it's got the dark red.
That's how those beads have that color to them?
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. How much new stuff am I going to learn on these stitching lives?
You know, that's a great question.
Unbelievable. Okay, so there's a little bit of copper inside every one of these beads.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Most of our beads have some sort of metal lining. They're either silver lined or they're copper lined. Or...
Everyone in the chat is being so generous and not being like, Sean, where have you been? Catch up.
But I've been doing more with color-lined beads too lately because the variety of colors is broader.
Amazing.
But, you know, it's not like I'm cutting out any colors of beads or sequins that we stock. Just keep adding things.
Okie dokie.
But yeah.
And so what color thread had you used with those copper-lined beads that I see in the sample? It's right there in front of you.
I had used the color that we use for cocoa, which is 3862.
Okay, so you used like a chocolatey thread.
I used the color that would match
the chocolate itself. The chocolate panel there itself in cocoa. Okay.
Which it suddenly occurs to me I did not grab out of my thread box, but I was probably going to need to use.
Your thread box is just over there.
Yeah, I know.
It's just over yonder.
I just try and grab my threads that
it's only inches away.
Because it's just there's less clicking involved.
All of a sudden, like I love the sample so much, I feel like I should be slow panning over these, like you know. I think there is a way that you can turn like your camera phone into a camera to use with our software.
Yeah, I think there is.
Maybe people would think that was a fun way to kind of break up the viewing. You know, like while they're watching, we could suddenly cut, we could talk, we could pan over slowly. I don't know.
We're working on it.
I would love more beads with the copper, Barbara said. Barbara, okay. I would too, since I just found out they exist in the first place. This is great. Little coppery beads. Little coppery beads.
There are other...
Will the copper, will it tone over time? Will it patina? Is it going to turn like the Statue of Liberty? Is it going to turn green on the inside?
So.
Let's put some of our beads, our stitching projects into a time capsule.
Okay.
That was a super 90s thing, right? Everybody was doing time capsules all the time.
There were a lot of time.
Maybe we could time capsule our chocolate box.
Tell me you're a child of the 80s and 90s without telling me you're a child of
This is like a riddle. Like, what kind of chocolate box can live in a time capsule for 100 years? And someone in the back is like, I know. The Pashto Design chocolate box. That's so great. I love it.
All right. So I'm just doing the swirl now.
She said, Shari says only if you leave it outside, Sean, and she's laughing. What do you mean only if you leave it outside? Pennies can tarnish inside the house, Shari.
But they're not like these beads. You're not handling the copper part. It's encased in glass.
What?
It's encased in glass.
The glass is the bead, you're saying?
Yeah.
So if the copper is inside glass, it can't oxidize and turn orange or turn green over time?
I would imagine it can't oxidize.
Okay.
Because it's
I'll buy that.
in glass.
This is another one of those moments where when the camera's off later, I'm going to be like, I sound like I have a 6th grade education.
Yeah, after last
week when I was like, Carlsbad, right? That's in Kentucky. And someone was like, New Mexico, Sean? And just kept doubling down on that.
Yeah, you did.
I sound like the brightest crayon in the box. Now here I am learning how oxidizing works and that there's copper inside glass beads.
Honestly, there is.
Okay.
There's also gold inside glass beads. And I have gotten samples of that. They're so pricey that I cannot justify putting them inside of kits because they are very expensive.
Yeah, but there's so many people here in the chat that would just love that extra bling there.
I'm sure.
I have children of the 80s. They did a lot of those time capsules. Yeah, what was it about the 1980s where suddenly time, like...
The 80s and 90s? I have no
Did the
idea.
technology... I think it was because of, like, the bicentennial.
Was it because of, like, Carl Sagan and putting the...
No, I think it was... Was it because we got to, like, 1976, which was the bicentennial, and then in the 80s and 90s, people just had, like, time capsule hangovers. They still just wanted to do it. Or the honeymoon phase hadn't ended yet for time capsules.
We were all afraid that Y2K was going to wipe us off the planet, so we had to make sure someone knew we were here.
Shari says we could have a special item of gold beads, and Deb says, have you ever watched glass beads being made?
I've not.
Mary Kobe says, my 90s boys definitely contributed items to time capsules. Yeah, for sure. This is it. Mm-hmm. Amazing. We could certainly have the glass beads separately. I don't know that we have watched glass beads being made because I was curious about
Oh, that's right. We did. We watched it with Tilly, didn't we?
No, I think I watched it by myself, but it was a lengthy video. I think I lost interest. I was like, this is too much.
He was like, well,
too much detail.
Interesting for the first 10 minutes.
Tilly does like watching videos of how things get made. We watched how cornflakes got made
yesterday.
The other night. She was rapt attention. She doesn't even eat cornflakes.
No.
Papa eats cornflakes.
Yes, her grandfather eats cornflakes, and she was like, well, now I've got to see how this happens.
Yeah, my grandfather eats cornflakes. Please, how do they make cornflakes? Okay, thank you. You finished your dinner. We can watch a video about how cornflakes get made.
Yeah, she asked, can I eat cornflakes like Papa?
Of course you can eat cornflakes like Papa. Yeah.
Absolutely you can eat cornflakes.
We're gonna build a time capsule, and we're gonna put copper beads and cornflakes inside. That's what we're going to put inside of it.
Oh, dear.
Delicious. Okay, so you've running stitched the detail on that chocolate now, it looks like.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, when I did the other two samples.
The other two samples that I have here with me, yes. When you did these other samples.
I had done...
Boom!
Thank you, dear. I had done... I'll get there.
That's okay. You snip right there, and then we're going to talk about crayons on Mr. Rogers. Okay.
I had done Lazy Daisy stitches up here.
Oh.
But instead I'm going to just bead all 3 of those holes. So I'm not going to do those stitches. I am purposefully leaving that chocolate without stuff.
Got it. These were all Lazy Daisy stitches here,
Those 2 just up in that corner.
Oh, look at that. I could have looked at this forever and would have never noticed
that that's what those were?
Of course, yeah, because I'm not a details guy, it turns out. Wow, okay.
Okay.
Great.
So, first, I'm going to grab my cocoa.
What we're trying to say is if you're stitching at home, girl, you got options.
Yes.
You got options as you're working on that.
Precisely.
And hopefully you are stitching at home. Thanks for joining us. If you're coming in late, this is Stitching Live with Lizzie and Sean. Welcome. Lizzie is doing the stitching. I'm just doing the talking.
So 3862 is the color that I use for cocoa.
3862 of DMC floss.
Yes.
Is what we use for cocoa.
Correct.
And the reason that you're switching this is because you're about to do some beading.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. I used to make glass beads for jewelry. Such a fun hobby, but time intensive. Wow, that's why we love the chat so much.
I've seen like the bigger beads getting made.
Uh-huh.
It's the seed beads that totally blow my mind because like I've seen people do lampwork beads and stuff like at craft fairs or craft shows.
I was just about to ask, what do you mean you've seen people do?
There are people like that would do
They're not doing them at the craft show. Like they're not physically making beads while sitting behind their craft booth.
No,
That's what I thought you were trying to tell me.
Somebody who did like a demonstration at one of the shows that I did once.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, gather around, children. I'm going to show you how to make these beads.
Yes.
And you were like, that's cool.
Yep.
It must not be that much of an apparatus.
It was like a Bunsen burner, essentially.
Oh, CB. Hey, CB's in the chat. I haven't seen her yet today. Cliff
Oh.
from Cheers had a really cool show called Made in America where he went to all kinds of factories to show how things were made. It was so interesting. That's right.
Interesting.
And the thing that I'm trying to teach our daughter Tilly, who's about to be 5,
yes,
is not just that these are things that are getting made, but that people had to make the machines that make the things, right? Tilly needs to understand that, like, it's not like those machines just appeared on the earth, that we, lamp work with a torch, Barbara says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, this is great. Thing. No, I'm happy to learn about lamp work beads. This is great.
Okay, so I'm doing just beading on that one little chocolate here.
So fast.
And since they're all holes, I'm just gonna...
You're going up through the hole and then you're anchoring it just off the hole into some felt so it has something to grab onto.
No.
What? That's the way you do every bead.
That's how I do beads when there isn't a hole.
Oh, Lord. How do we do a bead when there is a hole then?
I go up and down, and then I usually anchor them to something that's pre-stitched. But I don't really have a great thing to anchor them to right now, so I'm just going to tie them. I'm just like anchoring them all to one another.
I have no idea what you just said there, so you're going to have to do that all over again. You're coming up through the hole.
Up and down through the holes.
What do you mean up and down? You're coming up through the hole.
Yep.
Then you're putting on the bead.
Yes.
Then you're going back down through the same hole.
Yes.
And somehow the bead is not pulling through the fabric.
No, I choose beads that are big enough.
Okay.
They don't come through our holes.
They don't come through the holes.
You can get many sizes. Not many. You can get several sizes of beads.
So our beads are not going to go through that die cut hole for you.
Not if you don't like yank really, really hard. Like they should be fine.
They should be fine. Okay, so that's what you're doing, and then you're just going on to the next hole.
Yep.
And then get that closer to the camera for everybody at home.
Where's
up in the air. It's up there. Okay, so each one of those beads, you came up through the hole. Mm-hmm. You put the bead onto the thread, and then you went right back down through the hole.
Yes.
Rather than having to stitch any details.
Correct.
Everybody can kind of see the details really nicely there. You should move your thumb if you can. Look at that. There's all the details that we just stitched right there.
There's all the little designs on the tops.
And there's the little copper lined beads.
Those are silver, but yes.
Oh, God. The next time we have a pre-production meeting table, the next time we have a table read, we're going to talk about this. Oh, laugh it up,
I am
Furball.
laughing it up, actually.
Oh, Boylens. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So I'm just going to continue by putting on a few beads. These ones I'm not putting on holes, so I am just coming up through wherever.
You're coming up through wherever on these.
Yep. Then I'm going to put on the bead, make a little gap, go back through, and then tie it off.
And that's that.
Yes.
And you're doing all the embellishing now because you don't want people to see your work through the back later on?
Well, no, because this layer will stitch down and you won't see there's nothing on the back.
Exactly. And nothing on the back there. Nice and clean look there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Great. Because, we always, sometimes we're doing the embellishing and we're only like 3 minutes into the video. Sometimes we're doing the embellishing, there's like 3 minutes to go in the video, but now we're kind of right in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because we did all that stitching on this layer first.
Mm-hmm. Here comes another bead.
Yep.
Silver lined.
Indeed.
Cocoa colored thread.
Yes.
Up through a spot where there's no hole.
Yep.
There the bead is going onto the needle.
And I'm going to put a little bit of a gap in there. Come back through.
And what do you think the bead represents in the chocolate? This
Sprinkles.
is like, oh, a little sprinkle on the chocolate. Okay.
Or whatever.
Or whatever,
it's just pretty.
It doesn't seem to be diet anymore, though, Shari. It doesn't seem like this is diet chocolate now that it's got some sprinkles on top of it.
Oh, what's a sprinkle, really? Yeah, so I'm just going to double knot that, tie it, or get it. There we go. And then I'm just going to add a few more to these other 3.
Deb's saying bye-bye. I just waved at her in the camera. Thanks, Deb. She's got to go finish her chores. That's great. I have to finish my chores so I can get on to the live.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We do that, yes. All right, here I'm going to put one right in the middle.
Right in the middle of that crisscross there.
Yep. And I could have done more colorful beads. I just wanted to stick with the clear ones for this. Because I really like the copper with Desert Rose, but I feel like it's a little too orange for... I'm going to use taffy.
You're going to use some taffy for thread or for some felt today?
For the felt.
For the felt today. Okay, great. So I can pick up this plastic bag and just crinkle a little bit.
Sure.
Everybody loves that. I hope you're not listening on earpods, so I'm sorry, everybody. Word's going to get around. So taffy is going to enter the chat somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be the scalloped layer.
It's going to be the scalloped layer.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like the taffy doesn't look as nice with the copper line beads because it feels a little too orange.
So. A little too orange there. Okay, so we're going to get into this scalloped layer here eventually.
Yep.
Okay. Super. Taffy.
Yes.
Not to be confused with... I don't know that chocolate boxes usually don't have a taffy component to them.
No, but sometimes you get that strawberry nougat that's kind of pink.
Strawberry nougat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's like... It's taffy textured, but it's...
Someone in the chat's gonna have to remind me what nougat is, or I'm sure you could as well, but it's more fun if someone in the chat reminds me. Like, what on earth
isn't it like
is
made
nougat?
Of nut? It's like a nut paste.
We looked this up once, I think.
I don't know.
We've certainly had a conversation about what nougat is. Just
sure.
because I worked in restaurants doesn't mean I went to pastry school. So someone's gonna have to fill me in. No pun intended.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, that was great. I'll see myself out.
Yep.
I feel like my work here is done. I don't know about you and your craft project, but my work here today is done.
No, mine's not finished quite so much.
Is this another bead?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm just going to add a couple more.
Oh, you're going to add a couple more beads.
Literally 2.
Okay, so a couple.
Yep. There we go.
If you are just joining us and you'd like to be so bold, you can share your Valentine's plans. We're curious to know what all of you might be up to here this Valentine's Day weekend. And next week, we are going to be stitching live. Oh gosh, someone please tell Deb. Someone call Deb and tell her that
on Monday.
On Monday. We're going to be stitching live on Monday this week because a little birdie told me that it's a holiday and so that we should try and do it on Monday instead.
Also on Tuesday.
No, we have to... On Monday, we're going to be stitching live next week. And so we thought maybe there might be more people who are home. I don't know how many people have not been able to watch stitching live because they've been at work. Nougat is made with sugar or honey, roasted nuts, whipped egg whites, and sometimes chopped candied fruit. Sugar or honey.
I knew that there were nuts involved.
Roasted nuts. Oh, dinner at Tupelo Honey for Valentine's Day. There you go. There's a Valentine's plan. That's great. I will not sing the song. And not just because I don't like it all that much, but I won't do it. I don't know how that's going to come through. I don't know how that's going to come through the camera. I'd rather just crinkle this plastic bag.
Great.
That's our Valentine's plans. I'm going to crinkle plastic.
Crinkle plastic.
Ah, music to my ears.
Indeed. All right. I'm just going to put one in the center of that swirl that we did first.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to move on.
Start stitching some layers together.
Yes.
Here we go. All right, so nougat, sugar or honey, roasted nuts, whipped egg whites, and sometimes chopped candied fruit. That blows my mind that like the center of a Three Musketeers bar is somehow filled with egg whites. That's crazy.
I don't.
They've got to be making the nougat out of something. There's no way, right?
No, there is very much a way.
I'm turning into a lady who Googles again. Because I don't know about you, but that's the only access I had to nougat as a child was definitely inside a Three Musketeers bar, right? Like there's nothing.
There's nougat in Snickers, isn't there?
Wow, the nougat chocolate center is made by whipping egg whites until they're light and frothy. Get out of here. Yeah. All right, Three Musketeers, they're doing it the right way. I'm so sorry, Three Musketeers.
For doubting you.
I'm sorry to Target and I'm sorry to Three Musketeers. You did nothing to deserve.
All I was saying.
No, don't say it anymore. Don't say it anymore. Hubby is out of town. My plans are to participate in a Pink Fresh virtual event.
Oh,
that sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
Layers.
This one fits right here.
Now that's one piece, that cardinal red piece there.
Yeah, this isn't cardinal. This is red currant.
I'm so sorry. That red currant piece of felt.
Yes.
Is one solid piece that's cut from your dies. Give me the dies, would you? I need props. Give me the dies. Give me the dies.
Here you go.
Okay, spectacular.
Yeah, that's red currant.
Okay, oh boy.
Work it out, bro.
No, I wanted everybody to see my bald head again. Okay, so this is the die that is cutting out that shape.
Yes.
And you're gonna plop the other piece onto it.
Yes.
Okay.
This is how I roughly measure thread.
I've seen you do this before. This also blows my mind. Let me tell you what we did not do in 6th grade cross-stitching class. I'm pretty sure...
This is because I really, really hate having to
I think we just measured like this length
of
of your arm. It was just like, okay, how much thread goes from here to there?
Yep.
Like, and that was the amount of thread that you used, where I come from.
Not this girl.
Okay, so you're out there like literally...
I'm sure.
Because we don't have a warehouse full of thread.
You know what?
You know what?
Stop it.
Okay, so
because here's the thing.
Yes?
I'm sure that there are purists out there who would say that, like, the drag on my thread by the time that I get all the way through the project is, like, making it fuzzy and it's not as nice.
Oh, that's not a thing I've ever heard anybody say.
Oh, it's a thing I've heard people say, which is fine.
Sure.
Do you? I just really hate sewing or knotting different pieces of thread together.
Very strong word, but okay. And then we have the scalloped heart base from the scalloped heart. Correct set? Or this came with the...
That was the scalloped heart, yes.
That is the scalloped heart set.
Correct.
Okay, and then this is the basic heart that I see here too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So, I am going to start this here at this point. Actually, do I have the... Yeah. And I also have a loop here of crochet thread that I've pre-cut and knotted.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure to line up these holes.
Oh yeah, this is the time where we really have to think about what we're doing.
I'm going to come between the layers because this is eventually going to get hidden.
It's going to get hidden by a basic heart panel that you're going to stitch on top?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going between the layers because that way I don't have a tail on the back. And that way I don't have to stuff anything.
Okay, so you're going in between the layers to avoid a tail of thread that's coming through the back.
Yes.
Huh.
Because I don't want to have to stuff anything. Because in my brain, it doesn't make any sense to stuff box of chocolates.
You're not giving someone a puffy box of chocolates.
No, these are flat.
These are flat.
For me.
You could definitely stuff them.
In my head, yes. You certainly could.
Hey, Sue just said thanks for the measuring tip. Sue learned something right there about measuring her thread. That's awesome. There you go.
That's just,
That's one way to do it for sure.
It's a rough go.
Oh, Carol agrees with you, Lizzie, about drag. And Mary says, I don't have drag issues with pre-cut stitching holes, so I love a long piece of floss.
Right?
Mary and I are speaking the same language there.
There we go.
Wow, okay, so dragging, that's a thing that people think about in their embroidery projects.
I should have.
What are you doing?
I should have put my hanger in a couple of holes ago. So I'm going to backtrack a smidge here.
Donna Marie's in the chat saying Three Musketeers is her favorite.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
You're backtracking so we can get that loop. So the loop is still laying there on the table.
Yeah.
We can all see that.
Where-ish do I want it?
You got a visual triangle between your two thread bobbins and that loop right there.
Indeed. Indeed I do. Okay, so I want that to be the center hole, this one that I just went through. So I'm going to, or the hanger hole.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that on there right now.
And the hanger it's knotted in the bottom, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, mm-hmm. And then you're going to get the knot underneath a couple of stitches.
I'm going to I open up my loop.
You open up your loop. And
then I sew through the loop.
Yes.
Yeah, so it locks it in. Because I'm sewing through it this way, and then on my double back, I'll sew it through the other way.
Got it. And that's what's going to fully anchor.
Yep.
And the way that you measure that loop it's just loop length.
Yeah, it's just loop length.
That's just loop length.
It's usually like, I want to say 7-ish inches.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to the
because once you knot it,
I'm
and
going
you've
to the
got
tape
the
now.
tails.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever measured one of my hangers. I'm just like, that looks good. And then we're done. So,
got it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're just going to use a running stitch here too.
That's great. So now we're just going to go all the way around the chocolate layer.
Not all the way around.
Oh, good. Okay,
we are not doing this edge here.
The
we don't
interior
have to,
edge.
Because it's going to get stitched through when we add the heart on top.
When you add the heart on top, okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to do that edge here right now.
We've got some total classic talk going now in the chat. We're talking about Milky Ways and Three Musketeers now. That's classic. That's great.
Milky Way is essentially, it just has the added caramel.
Three Musketeers with caramel layer like kind of wedged inside? Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay. I think that's correct.
Dandy. And again, I'm using 3 strands of thread for this. You can use 2. You can use as many as you want. I usually use 3 for pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. But like, I suppose on these decorative chocolate bits, you could have used more strands to make it look like a thicker drizzle and stuff. Yeah, 3 usually is plenty for me. So
everybody's hungry in the chat today. Would love Russell Stovers to make a box of just dark chocolate strawberry nougat only. There you go, just a whole box, dark chocolate on the outside, strawberry nougat on the inside. See, that's where you're gonna have to find. You have to find a yokel chocolatier to do that for you.
That's true.
Some kind of local, but they wouldn't have, of course, the Russell Stovers recipe. Yeah. Think about that.
I used to buy our mailman chocolates for Christmas.
Yeah.
But he sees us so much now that I felt like I needed to
step up
my game. Mm-hmm. So I give him a little bit more than just a box of chocolates now for Christmas. And it was never a heart-shaped box, just so we're clear.
Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Steve. We do love Mr. Steve, but
shout out.
We don't need to make him feel uncomfortable when he picks up.
That's right. Shout out Mr. Steve, who doesn't know we're talking about him on the YouTube Live today.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So this was designed so that this tray layer is just a little bit smaller than the basic heart, so that you can see like the edge of the box. You see how it looks like there's an edge of the box around the outside?
I do see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can see that edge there. That's great.
Yeah. So I have big fun with this die. A little back and forth there.
And once you get through this layer, that's when you're going to dip into using the scalloped edge on the basic heart to make the top. Is that what's happening next?
Yeah, so the basic heart will go on the top of the scalloped heart. But first we've got to stitch our message.
There's a message on top.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that you had die cut this thing earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. And the message says, My love. And that came with the...
That's the chocolate box messages.
The chocolate box messages dies. Okay, there you go. That's where the My Love came from.
Correct.
Right there in the center.
And all of those messages, here I'm at the end, so I'm going to double back. All of the messages fit on the basic hearts.
The basic hearts as well.
You can use those without the chocolate box.
That's right. It's just a way to add a few more messages out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, much like the conversation hearts messages, you can add greetings to your hearts on any project. It doesn't just have to be the chocolate box.
That's right.
Come in. There we go. Any more fun facts about chocolate boxes?
No, I was going to start asking you questions about what the vibe was going to be for the handmade Valentines that you're about to.
Oh.
With the paper Valentines you're about to make.
I'm probably just going to get out a bunch of. I've been thinking about this.
I know you've been thinking. You haven't even told me. I know that you've probably been thinking about this.
I'm just going to get out a bunch of old paper, like patterned paper, and my dies, and get a couple of sentiment stamps out and mounted for her. So she can stamp the sentiments.
Yeah.
And let her choose which. I've got like some like panel dies, like they would be used on an A2 card base, but we'll probably just use them flat. And let her die cut some hearts and pattern papers and add a message in stamping.
Because she loves the collage as it is.
I would
say that collage is our daughter's favorite art form.
She literally got a box of glue sticks for Christmas.
Shout out Nancy. Shout out Nancy, who we know sometimes watches. If you're here, thanks for being here.
So I told her we would just make our own this year. Because last year we used some that I had made when I did craft fairs. I did like a classroom.
Yeah, I remember
Valentine's
those, right?
kit.
Yeah, they were like all perfect. They had perforated edges and stuff, didn't they?
They did.
That's right. You used those last year.
We did, and we just like put in a treat, like an allergy-friendly treat, and called it a day. But this year I figured we would just make
and she's going to come home with a bunch of like Hulk Valentines and stuff.
Which
you know
is
what I mean?
Fine.
Yeah,
that's you.
Yeah, well, you know, we prefer DC, but yes, we'll accept Marvel. That's fine. Sure.
But the first year we had school, there were only like 6 kids in our class, and I happened to, you know how like when you're stamping, maybe you don't know, maybe the people in the chat know.
Oh, like I've never stamped before? I've been known to stamp, okay?
Anywho.
Go ahead.
You know how when you're having like a rough creative slump, and so you just start like stamping things in different colors just to sort of play with colors and stuff?
Sure. So
I had a bunch of a design that I had done years ago for a company, and they were hearts and they had a bunch of flowers on them. And I had them in a ton of different colorways. And so I just put like foam tape on the back of each of those hearts and let Tilly put them on like a rectangle of cardstock, and that was our jam. So just to be clear, you have basically what amounts to a photographic memory of the handmade Valentines that are being exchanged by our daughter at preschool for when she was 2 and 3 years old. You're just like, that's just locked into your memory bank there. Okay, that's a yes. I'm taking that as a yes. I don't need this, sir.
No, I can't believe that you're like when a golfer is describing how on the 17th hole they were, they have fairway, they got off to the right, and they chipped it back on, and then they're laying 2 on the sand trap, and then they flip. Like, that's that kind of recall that you have.
All I'm trying to say
is what?
In the last couple of years, I know what we've done. I may not remember in the 4th grade.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. No, by the time the 4th grade rolls around, she's going to be wanting to buy those things at the CVS. And then you're going to be like, over my dead body. No daughter of mine's going to buy from the CVS on Valentine's Day.
She asked recently if we could have a birthday party at a different place, and I about swallowed my...
It's a good thing I was driving the automobile when that request came out of the car seat, that's for sure.
I was like, excuse me? Have I not thrown you fabulous birthday parties?
Well, let's hope she doesn't watch this one someday. Tilly, we love you.
No, we do.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Stitching Live. Stitching Live with Lizzie and Sean. We're stitching the chocolate box details die.
Yes.
This is Tuesday. Next week, we're going to be live on Monday. We're going to be here on Monday. Okay, go.
We are.
You've made it to the edge.
Back to the end here. So I'm just... Oh, no, I gotta go through one more. Here.
You're going through the layers to finish it off?
I'm going through the layers so I can tie off the...
So you can tie off the brown where you started.
And then this will all get hidden under the next layer anyway. I just didn't want the tail to be on the back.
And we said the next layer is you're about to stitch probably some white thread onto My Love.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You mean you could go taffy colored thread if you wanted to?
I got out the taffy because I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go, but with the chocolate details all being white, I think I want to make it white.
Okay.
So I'm just tying that off.
Yeah.
And the tails don't matter because they're going to get tucked underneath. Anywho.
Yep. Let me see that thing.
This?
Yeah, yes, this thing. Okay, so this is where we are so far.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how we've got that outline there, and you can see on the back how the running stitch looks. Someone wants to know what you're going to be stitching on Monday. That's a great question, what we're going to be stitching on Monday.
We are stitching garden trimmings.
Ooh, garden trimmings on Monday. That's great. That's what we'll be stitching on Monday. So if you're not yet familiar with a garden trimmings die, that one has a very large inspiration guide that comes with it. It's a full page inspiration guide.
I think it's actually 2 or 3 pages, but yes.
Oh, it's more than, but
I think it's 2 pages.
It's a full page thing though, is all I'm trying to say.
Yes, but
it's not a little one.
It's not a little one. It's a multi-page thing.
So it will not be black and gold, I don't think.
That was not my plan.
I'm always wondering when we can come on strong with a black and gold color motif.
Why?
Unless I'm here stitching black and gold garden trimming flowers.
Indeed.
You know me, I'm just always trying to push the boundaries of this pink circle that I'm in. You know, like one of these days, I'm going to bust through. That's why I'm trying to figure that out.
Silly.
Yeah,
okay.
Let me out of here.
So this is one of the greetings from Chocolate Box Messages.
They can't see it yet. You're showing them, but that's great. They're not going to be able to... No, they can see it like you're on camera. The point is just, you know, they can't see through the holes of the red currant. You got to stitch it.
Okay.
Here we go. We're off to the races.
So I'm just doing 3 strands with a running stitch.
Great.
And
you could bring this part closer to your face and stitch it like you really do, you know? You don't have to show this one in front of the camera, I don't think.
Well, I don't want to bore people.
No one's going to be bored. I could put it on the big camera if you wanted to. You could look people right in the eye and talk about making Valentines if you wanted to.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen here. Let's see. Yeah, let's switch it out. Here we go. Bloop.
This is a much more comfortable angle for me.
Yeah, and I can turn this off and boop, just like that. Shazam. Oh, well, you can't really see anything on the table anyways, except I'll just adjust this little guy. Yeah. We're working on it. There you go.
So,
because the whole point of this stitching live, right, is hopefully people are stitching along with us, and now they know you can get your garden trimmings ready, or you can just get some kind of flowers ready. Last week, Mary told us about the I almost said the freaking fields of ranunculus that are out there.
Ranunculi.
I can't believe I didn't Google that. Like out in Carlsbad, there's apparently just it's a sea of ranunculi as far as the eye can see.
We had to run last week to get Tilly.
We're always running to get Tilly at school. Yeah, exactly. But you're stitching that little guy, that little Be Mine. And so the Be Mine, or I'm sorry, what did it say? My Love. My Love is going to be right in the center where you can see you and me there on the sample project. That's great. I don't think I can zoom that picture in any further. I'd like to try. Maybe I can. Can I adjust that? I don't know if I can get that any tighter. No, I think that's as tight as that little box gets. I'm looking. No, that's all. It's going to be all the better it is. Okay.
Okay. And yes, when it comes to these messages, I generally do each letter separately. So I'm going to tie off between my letters.
You're tying off in between the letters?
Yes.
I had no idea that you're tying off in between the letters.
I think we've been over this.
Not the individual letters.
Yes.
That's shocking.
Like last week, I think we went over this.
I think you should just stitch it through without tying off in between all the letters on this particular one.
Good for you.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Once this is happening, you're then going to attach it to the scallop panel.
Yep.
And once you're on the scallop panel, then the scallop panel gets attached to the thing that's sitting in my lap.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And then the project is complete.
Correct.
And we think that we're doing, Shari says you can do split screen. Split screen, I think she means What? Me and her? Is Shari trying to tell me that she wants me to be in half the screen and you're in half the other screen? Because I don't think our little pictures ever get that big.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. Mary says you need to Google them. The ranunculus are planted in rainbow stripes.
So
Whoa. Okay, Mary. Okay, that's just cheese in the trap right there. That is just cheese in the trap, Mary. I'm thinking about it now.
All right.
I don't know how big these little picture-in-picture windows get. I don't know that we can do splits. Oh, wait, I disappeared. Hey, don't worry, everybody. I'm still here.
Now he's just playing with the computer.
Yeah, I'm just playing with the computer there.
I feel like nothing good can come of this.
Yeah, you can do half Lizzie, half the desk, and then a bubble of Sean. So many options. Wow. Shari's over here telling us how to do our job.
I appreciate that, Shari.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could certainly make this guy a little bit larger. Let's see what happens.
I mean, I'm doing my job.
Oh, snap. Okay, how big does this... Oh, Lord, yeah, look at that. Woof, bam. Keep it up. I'll just put that right over your whole face. If you want. Look at that. Okay, hang on. Let me try that. Here we go. We're just branching out here, everybody. Just branching out. Oh, but see if I move this. Oh, boy. Now they can see how close I am to you. Nope. Don't look at the screen. Pay no attention. Pay no attention to the man behind the screen.
Oh, dear. That's funny.
It's still covering your face up when I do that.
I don't know what to say.
I don't say either. I'm just having a good time.
I know you are.
This guy. I just make it a little smaller.
See, on the one hand, I feel like maybe I could do some of these things ahead, and on the other hand, I'm like, well, but I don't know if there are things that people want to see, and so I don't know. We're still getting our YouTube legs underneath.
We're not exactly professionals yet on this, which is I think our 5th stitching live.
I believe so.
Yeah, we've only stitched live 5 times.
And one of those times, I unknowingly had the flu. So I don't think that one should count.
But there you are stitching. What letter are you on right now?
L.
Okay, you're on the L.
I'm going as fast as I can.
Someone says that we're very fun. Thank you, Barbara.
Glad.
That's very nice of you to say. That's great.
We enjoy each other's company.
It turns out we enjoy each other's company. That's right.
I'm glad other people enjoy our company too.
Stitching.
Yep.
We're just playing around trying to figure out exactly what works.
Yep.
Which is why maybe, who knows, maybe at 1 o'clock next week when people are on a holiday, those chat will just be filled with people chopping it up about their favorite presidents or their favorite gardens or maybe just their favorite trimmings. I don't know. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah. You have to think about what your favorite trimmings are between now and then.
I'm a big fan of stuffing.
Stuffing, eh?
It's a trimming.
Oh, you're talking about trimming. That's trimming a plate, not trimming a tree. When I was thinking about trimmings, I was thinking about the barbershop. So that's totally different things there. Yeah.
Well.
And there you are tying off after every single letter.
Yes.
That boggles the mind.
I am boggled that you are still boggled because
So
we've been
boggled.
over this.
No, I don't think so. I'm not going to go back and rewatch all the lives to figure out if that's happened, but maybe it did.
We definitely talked about this last week.
If you say so.
I do.
I'll go along with it.
Wasn't it last week? I think it was last week.
I'm not so sure anymore. And so then the scalloped edge, yeah, I guess it does. It hangs over the chocolates a little bit, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
If I'm looking at that. You've got the example that we have on camera there. Yeah, the scallop edge kind of hangs over there, but it's okay. You can still see all those little chocolates kind of peeking through.
Yep.
Wow, so much dimension. Now, are you planning on embellishing this panel that you have here in your hands?
Just a little.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you're going to be finishing this one off, I think, by yourself if you're not careful.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say over here. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, but
I wasn't.
You're talking about all these things we're going to do. Like maybe the scallop panel is not going to happen, or
well,
I don't really know what.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we showed the part that's the chocolate bits.
We did show the part that's the chocolate bits, yeah. So what you're saying now, you're hedging against yourself. You're like, okay, they've seen the chocolatey parts of the bits and everything.
I'm trying real hard over here, okay?
Yeah. It's okay. People have gotten the gist of it by now, for sure.
It's both good and bad to give ourselves time constraints because, like, there are some things I want to make sure that I get to for everybody, but at the same time, we also have like a kiddo to pick up. So
yeah, and if folks are watching this later, it's just a great way to have on the background while you yourself are stitching, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Check in, participate, have fun, be a part of Pashta.
We enjoy it.
If you're here with us, you're now a part of Pashta, which is awesome.
Whether you like
because
it or
there's only like 3 or 4 people total who have ever really been. No, I mean ever total is what I was
ever
saying.
Total.
Ever total, 5 people ever total a part of Pashta, maybe. But really, yes, it's the 2 people that are in these tiny little bubbles on the YouTube screen here. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Which letter are you going to work on now?
V.
Oh, you're working on the letter B next. Great.
V.
And then you're going to be doing some beads and sequins.
I don't have to do the beads and sequins. I can just stitch the layers together.
Sure, you could also just do. No, I think we end with some beads and sequins because that's a better, more impactful bang to go out on. Is like let's do a review on how the beads and sequins work because stitching the panels together is.
I did beads earlier.
Of course, you did beads earlier, but you didn't do beads and sequins earlier. We all have to be reminded that you come up through the hole, and then you add the bead, and then you go back around the sequin, and then back into another place, right? Like that's. There's no copper in the sequins, though, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, Kathy just asked a great question. Kathy wanted to know, I'll let you answer this. Does the name Pashta have a meaning? It sure does, Kathy. You're about to find out what it is.
So when I started my business back in 2007, I was designing stationery for the most part.
Hang on a second. Yeah, before you go Googling, the business started in 2007, but they're not like dye kits going back to 2007.
No,
it was a very different business in 2007.
I was doing graphic design and stuff. I was doing stationery.
You started out doing a lot of custom wedding invitations for people. That was kind of the beginning of the business was that.
And Poshta means the mail in Bulgarian.
Yeah, it means the mail or like the post, the post office or the mail in Bulgarian.
I thought I was answering this question.
Keep going now.
So, my family is Bulgarian, and so that was really meaningful to me. Mm-hmm. And I decided, even though I was gradually doing more and more product design and not so much graphic design, and the products are now not even paper-based necessarily, that the name is meaningful enough to me that I was going to keep it, even though maybe it's not as relevant as it once was. So, Poshta means the mail, but it's synonymous with family to me. The most significant, I would say, most impactful person in my creative life was my grandmother's sister. Her name was Gina. And I don't think she ever got over having to leave Bulgaria, but she taught me a lot of things, and I loved her very, very much. Mm-hmm. And spent as much time with her as I possibly could. And she said my name, Elizabeth, because she couldn't say Elizabeth, mm-hmm. which I loved.
And so, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept it.
Yeah, and of course it was great. And even in 2007, there was nobody. There weren't a lot of businesses, with that name. Nope. You could also kind of pronounce it easily still. So it was like, it was distinctive in that way.
It's been a wee bit Americanized. It's definitely more Poshta than Pashta, but we do what we can.
There you go.
And
Yeah, Gina obviously, not obviously, but she was not the only super creative person in your life. Your grandfather...
My grandfather designed product for Libby Glass.
Mm-hmm, for the Libby Glass factory in Toledo, Ohio. Yep. And he was a wood carver.
He was a wood carver and illustrator.
Which is where kind of the Celtic knot set sort of grew out of that, because he used to wood carve Celtic knots.
Yes, and I...
Because he was Irish. Maybe I should explain that.
That part of my family is Irish.
Right, that part of the family was Irish.
So, yes, he carved wood. He had MS, and so at some point, he couldn't get around very well, and so he would just sit on his porch, mm-hmm. on the back porch of my grandparents' house, and he would just carve and yell at the TV. That's what he did.
There you go. What more could you want in life than to do some whittling and to do some yelling at the television?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he watched a lot of Xena Warrior Princess.
A lot of Xena Warrior Princess, I've been told. I did not meet the man. He passed before I met Lizzie.
Yes.
But yeah, those are the two kind of primary artistic.
Well, and my dad, he did woodwork for a very, very long time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
What do you have there now?
All right, so there's the My Love.
As we've been stitching, that's great. You did that so fast. So fast. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the other view since you're going to be doing some real beadwork here.
Okay.
Boom. We'll get that in there and we'll get this out of here. Clear.
We'll get some sequins and beads. That's not a good sequin.
And these are going to go like kind of in the negative space. Is that what we're going to do here?
Yep. I'm pretty much going to do exactly what it looks like on the other one for the most part.
Yeah, this is great because, you know, sometimes this is great for me. Like, I guess I used to think, or maybe I was suspicious that the beads and the sequins were super time consuming, but it turns out like...
Well, if you're doing a ton of them, they can be.
They can be, but this, like, you know, a few little flashes of these embellishments don't take a ton of time relative to the entire project, right? Like, the whole project we're stitching here in about an hour and a half, let's say, roughly. And we've only been doing bead and sequins work for about, I don't know, 6 minutes, 6 of those minutes. And it's great. It's like a little impactful thing that with a little bit of skill can be done very, very quickly. And it adds so much to the finished piece.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I like having just a little bit of sparkle. Like, I don't think you need to have... like, it doesn't have to be Dolly Parton level sparkle every time, right?
Yeah, like neither one of us are the most shimmery people that you're ever going to meet.
But I do think that adding just a little is nice.
You don't have to be audacious.
No.
Or ostentatious.
Right.
What's the difference between...
Google to the rescue.
Bold, daring, and unconventional is what audacious means.
Yes.
Well, ostentatious means characterized by vulgar or pretentious display, designed to impress or attract notice. Yeah. You don't have to be either one of those things to just have a few little...
A little bit of sparkle.
Oh, because audacious as the synonyms are brave and courageous. So there's like a little bit of adventurous or fearless is what it means to be audacious. Okay, that's good to know.
Well, now we do.
Okay.
Okay. So...
Just like that, you've already attached something to it. Two somethings to it. See, exactly. As I said earlier, that was like 1 minute.
So up through the thread, the felt.
Up through the felt.
If you're putting on a sequin, you would do so now. Then there goes the bead. Then you're going to go down with a little bit of a gap, just so that there's a spot for everything to really grip. And then you tie it off.
Are you doing more beads and sequins, or is that going to be the only little bit there?
I might just leave that bit, because the My Love is a little bit, the shape of the letters is different than the You and Me.
So what do you want to do here with the camera? You want to put it back on you?
No, hold on.
Oh, not yet. Okay, sorry. Here's the other part there.
Yeah, I need both the scallop too.
Oh, you want the scalloped as well? Well, the scallop is right here. That's great.
So the scallops...
I'm going to put the camera back on you, though. You're going to hold all that up for everybody.
Hold on.
When we get there. Yeah, I'm holding on. When we get there.
On, sir. The scallops.
Oh, what thread are you using for the sequins there, Linda? Would like
this
to know.
is 816 is the one that I use for red currant. So the solid heart, this basic heart shape, and the scalloped heart, all the holes line up. And they also line up with these holes here. So just to finish it off, you just line everything up and stitch it right into place using a running stitch. Same thing. You're just gonna finish it easy peasy, and then you've got your cute little chocolate box. It looks like this.
And you're gonna stitch that up as you're going with in the cart today, aren't you?
I've got to go talk.
I was gonna say I was gonna put the camera back on you. You could get your needle threaded up.
No,
but you don't have to do that right this second.
I've got to run and talk to somebody today.
Okie dokes. Well, let's see if I can get this picture-in-picture going again the right way. There you go.
Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for being here and stitching live with us today. We hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
We hope you have a safe and fun Valentine's Day with more than 2 pieces of chocolate. You have my permission to have more than 2 pieces. You didn't need
As if
it.
you needed it.
You didn't need to have it. No, you did not need to have my permission, but you have my permission to have as much chocolate as you want to. Or cacao nibs. You could have as much.
Cacao nibs.
Nougat. You could have as
Crunch
much
on those bad
as
boys.
much nougat as you want.
Bad
Get
boys
those.
number 2, right there.
Get those. Oh, is that the second bad boy? Oh, I pushed you to it. That's incredible. Okay, so the second bad boy of the show has happened.
Yes.
Great. Thanks for being here, everyone. Hope you have a great time, and we'll see you on Monday. Next week when we'll
Monday
do
at 1 o'clock.
more stitching.